Hello, Panthers. Just wanted to take a minute and read to you Designing an Investigation. This would be on page 57 and 58 in your ecosystems textbook. While a scientific investigation sometimes begins with a specific question, many times a question is a result of observations that were made while studying a topic of interest. For example, as you watch a butterfly move from flower to flower in your garden, you notice that the butterfly visits only certain flowers. This might lead you to formulate a scientific question about butterflies and flowers. For example, what attracts butterflies to certain flowers? Based on your observations, you might then formulate a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a proposed explanation based on evidence. In the case of your garden butterfly, you may have noticed that it landed only on the red flowers in your garden. Your hypothesis might be that butterflies are able to see only the color red, and that is why they are attracted to those flowers. A hypothesis is sometimes then written in the manner that can be tested based on the variables, sometimes referred to as an if-then format. In this example, the hypothesis might be, if butterflies can If butterflies can see only the red color, then butterflies will visit red flowers more often than flowers of other colors. One way to test a hypothesis is with a controlled experiment. To plan this type of investigation, you need to determine your independent variable and your dependent variable. An independent variable, also called the manipulated variable, is the variable that you purposely change in an investigation. To learn about the effects of a variable, you must change only that variable and keep all other variables the same. The dependent variable, also called the responding variable, is a variable that you will measure. The change to the independent variable affects the dependent variable. For example, you might choose to change the colors of the flowers to see if the butterflies are responding to the color. The color of the flower would be the independent variable, and the dependent variable would be the number of butterflies that land on each color of flower in a set amount of time. When you measure for your dependent variable is your data. Before you begin the experiment, you need to determine what tools or techniques you may need to measure the data. For the butterfly investigation, you may need a stopwatch to measure time as you count the number of butterflies. For other investigations, you may need things like rulers or graduated cylinders. Next, determine how you will conduct your investigation. While determining how to change the independent variable, you must also determine how to keep all the other conditions the same. We say these variables are controlled because they remain constant throughout the investigation. In a controlled investigation, you typically have two or more groups, a control group and the one or more in experimental groups. The independent variable is applied only to the experimental group, not to the control group. In the butterfly investigation, the control group might include flowers with no colorization, white flowers, and the experimental group would include flowers of one or more colors. After you have determined how to conduct your investigation, write out the detailed steps that you will follow. The list of steps is called the procedure. A procedure should be written in such a way that another scientist can follow all your steps without any additional information. Once you have your procedure, follow those steps to conduct your investigation. As you do, record the data and any changes that have been made to your original procedure. Once data has been collected, analyze the data to see if there's a relationship between the independent and dependent variables. In other words, see what the data tells you about how changing the independent variable affects the dependent variable. Finally, share the data from your investigation and data analysis with other students. Thank you, Panthers. If you have any questions about designing an investigation, please let your teacher know.